All right, folks, welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm joined with John Summer, who is an Emmy Award winner and anchor. You're an Emmy Award winning anchor and investigative reporter with such great depth in the broadcast and print industry. And I guess my question to you is, how did someone like you, an investigative reporter, get involved with home title lock? I mean, how did that come to be?
That's a good question. Hey, by the way, Nino, before I get into that, I got to tell you a fun fact. Because you grew up in that West Texas town of El Paso, right? That
Yeah. Oh,
Marty
yeah.
Robbins sang about.
Yep. And I know where
I
Rosa's Cantina is.
Yeah. Well, I live in the West Texas, West California town near El Paso de Robles, which is the same thing.
Interesting.
Paso the oak trees.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Have you ever been to El Paso,
Yeah,
Texas, El Paso?
yeah. In fact, my dad's side of the family is all from Texas, so yeah.
Oh, nice. El Paso is like the stepsister of all the like San
Yeah.
Antonio, Austin.
You're down there
That's all
near.
East Texas. All the big cities are East Texas. El Paso is like it's almost like New Texaco here. That's what I
Yeah,
call it. Yeah, it's like Mexico, New Mexico,
yeah.
Texas. It's its own world, man. It's crazy here. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff happening right now with the border. Then I've been going down there and filming. It's ground zero here, man. So
Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
yeah.
But with that being said, John, I really appreciate you coming on because this really is a big issue happening in America right now. And I was under the impression, yeah, maybe a few here and there, one in every few thousand. But no, this is actually is it in the millions, hundreds and thousands, or millions? How often is this actually occurring? How
Well,
many
we're talking
houses are
about
being stolen?
we're talking about the crime of title theft or deed theft, or the FBI back 25 years ago when they were actually pursuing real criminals. Uh, they called it house stealing. But the deal is, uh, they don't want your house. The criminal doesn't want the house. They don't want the property. What they want is the value of that property, the equity in the property. And it doesn't even have to have a house on it. It can be like out here in where I am in California. Uh, the big deal with the local DA's office that I've been dealing with is people stealing the deed to undeveloped property and selling that. So it's just the value of whatever that deed governs. A house, an Airbnb, your grandma's house, the cabin in the woods, apartment, it doesn't make any difference. Or
And
open
they do it
land.
right from under people's noses, and they have no idea
Yeah.
it's happening. And next thing you know, they don't own their house anymore. I was talking to, I guess, one of the main criminals that was doing this. I forgot his name. He actually has done commercials for Home Title Lock, and I
Yeah.
actually did an interview with him. I forgot his name; it escaped me.
His name
But
is Matthew Cox. And I
Matthew
was out in
Cox.
Dallas not too long ago, and I interviewed him as well. So you know his story.
I was just surprised how he had no remorse, man. He was just like, "No, I was just doing it just to do it." I mean, it's the way I was making my money. I was like. You didn't feel sorry for these people that you're putting out on the street, these families. And that's the kind of mindset it takes to do this, right? I mean, the people that do this have no remorse for.
And that's the thing. And you and I both know people like that where there's no there's no
Empathy.
divinity in them. They have
No.
no faith. They have no compassion. They do it, and it doesn't make any difference who they hurt because they don't care. They just want your property and what it's worth, and then they'll take it. And that money goes off someplace, and you'll never find out about it until 2 or 3 months down the road. And the bank comes calling and says, "Hey, you haven't made payments on this loan you took out." Well, I didn't take out the loan. Well, it says here you did. I didn't even know my deed was stolen. That's how insidious this is. It's not
And
like.
there's no alerts to let people know about this stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there are some local law enforcement departments that are starting to find out that this is a real crime, but there's only so much they can do about it. Maybe they can alert you, but they can't. They can't get the deed back or the property back because it happens so quickly. It's a stealth crime. It's not like somebody hits you over the head and steals your watch. You never know it's happened until it's too late.
So what have you found through your investigations? How does this process start? How does it end? People
Yeah.
have no idea their house is being stolen from right from under them. You never get an alert, folks. You'll never know what's even happening. Just one day you wake up and it's gone, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
lost your house. That's
Yeah.
really how this happens.
Well, I mean, it could be a dude like Matthew Cox that you interviewed, where the way he did it is he rents some guy's house, right? And he's there for a few months, and for all the world, the owner of the home thinks that this guy's totally legit. Well, in the meantime, he's getting all the information on the house, and you know, with the internet and with artificial intelligence, you can get information on anybody anywhere in the world. So Matthew Cox, he's living in the house. He gets all the info on the house. He takes the title. He goes out and he
How does he
doesn't
get
just
the
get
title?
one loan company. He gets 3 or 4 loan companies on this one piece of property. And it doesn't make any difference how much the house is worth or the property is worth, because he'll just take whatever the bank will give him, and then he's gone. Or she or a criminal entity. I mean, there are enterprises all around the world that are doing
Don't they
this.
do an identification check? I mean, don't they check and see who this person really is, if they're really the owner? How do they get away with this?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You know, they get away with it because the county clerk's office, if all the paperwork looks correct, and again, you can get this all off the internet. You can fake all of the paperwork and everything. You can get a notary stamp off of Amazon or someplace if you want to.
I
Make it
have
all
friends
look
that do
official.
notaries. They don't even care. They just stamp it. Yeah.
Yeah, they stamp it. And if the county clerk looks at the paperwork and goes, okay, this looks good, they're not allowed to ask. They can't
They're
fault.
not allowed to ask for
Uh-uh.
the person's identification.
No, if it, well, they can give them identification, but the identification
But don't
is
they have to
fake
match the
too.
owner with the deed and everything and the title? I mean, how is this even happening? I mean, we could stop all of this just right there.
Well, you can if you use certain services that do monitoring, and the one that in my research that I found out is a company called Home Title Lock, and they are really unique. They're the pioneers in the industry, you know, and they also have this proprietary software because the individual that developed this company in the first place worked with titles, so he knew how they could be frauded. And what this company does is they do 3 things. It's called triple lock protection. They monitor your title, okay, 24/7. You can't do it. You're not going to go down to the courthouse and check your title every day. And even if you did, it can happen an hour after you leave. It happens so quickly. They monitor the title, then they alert you if they see something fishy going on. Okay. And then you can say, no, I didn't take out an equity loan. That's
How do
not
they
me.
alert you? They send you an email. They call you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They send you an email right away. They say, hey, did you take out an equity loan or whatever, or sell the property? And then the third thing is if for some reason the title actually gets transferred, and it can happen really quickly, then, and this is the most
How
important,
fast? Let's tell my audience how fast this can happen.
instantly. I mean, they can come in there, steal that title, and immediately take out a loan or sell the property or whatever. And uh, and you wouldn't know about it until it's too late. So the most important part of what Home Title Lock at hometitlelock.com does is they will work with you to restore the title back into your name should it actually get transferred. And again,
So
it can happen. You would never know it until it's too late. So hometitlelock.com does those 3 important things for you, and they have their own a legal division with the company. So otherwise, you would have to go through the court system. You know how nasty that could be.
yep.
You have to hire an attorney. You know how expensive that can be. And Home Title Lock will provide up to $1 million worth of work on your behalf to restore that title to you. That is peace of mind. And it's not expensive. Go on their website, hometitlelock.com. And
Yeah, I'm
Nino,
showing the
I
website
think,
right here, but it says here lock one, 24/7 monitoring, lock two,
right.
urgent alerts, lock three, restoration. So that's great. But the monitoring, how do they, if you don't respond to the alerts, what happens if you don't know you're getting the alerts?
Well, you will know that you're getting the alerts because they make sure that you find out. If you don't respond, then they'll follow up to make sure that you are aware of it. And the thing is, most people, I mean, say you have an Airbnb, okay, and you live in Texas, and the Airbnb is someplace else. You're not watching over that property, so you need someone to be able to do it for you. I mean, Airbnb would be a perfect example of a prime um, um,
Target.
a target for a criminal. Exactly.
Really?
Because you're not there watching over it. People are living there. I mean, it's
But
not
it
just,
doesn't necessarily, that's not necessarily how it goes down. It could be anybody's home. People can be driving through the neighborhoods and be like, oh, I'm going to take that house.
yeah, exactly. I mean, if they could, all they have to do is identify a property that they think might be easy pickings, and then they'll go
What
online.
makes it easy pickings? What makes it a target?
What makes it a target is that all the information on that property is available. I mean, you can very easily find out anything about anybody and any piece of property, create the documents, the fraudulent documents, and then steal that deed, and you'd never know about it, including open land, as I said. As an example, again, as I said before, I'm working with the local DA's office because they found out about this crime through kind of a weird kind of a way. A real estate agent got a call from someone saying, "Hey, I got this piece of land. I want to sell it." Land here in California is worth a fortune, even if it doesn't have a piece of property on it. And she goes, "Well, God, that's easy sale. I better find out a little bit more about this." So she said, "Let's meet." And the guy says, "I don't need to meet, just sell it." So she went and she did some research and found the owner of the property, found out that the owner of the property lives in Scottsdale, Arizona, and didn't even know. He said, "I don't have this property for sale." So she goes to the local DA's office and says, "I think we got a scam going on here." And they start looking into it. They find hundreds of these things happening. And the DA's office here has to set up a special cyber crime division
Wow.
just to handle title theft. I mean, it's a stealth crime. It is so insidious because for most people, this is your, sum total of your net worth is the equity in your home and your property.
100%.
And if
Yeah.
that's gone, you're you're you're
Your life's done.
you're
You're
done.
broke.
Think about your mother, your grandmother,
Is there
and
any way
their house.
to, so if it happens to somebody, how do they go against this? How do they fight against it? You're saying
Well, you
home
have to
title
go.
lock allows a restoration, but
Well, if you don't have a monitoring service like Home Title Lock, you have to go through the court system, and they're not going to believe you. I mean, if they look at the documents and go, "Well, it says here you already sold the property." Well, I didn't. You got to hire an attorney, and now you got to fight them. And sometimes it takes years, it takes tons of money, and not to mention
and
all
during
of the.
that time, could they've already sold the house a bunch of times? Or I mean, like, how does that work?
Well, I mean, generally, once the legal system kind of catches up with them, they don't care. They're gone. It could be a criminal enterprise in Africa, you know,
Right. So like other
anywhere in the world. Huh?
India, anywhere, just
India,
target your property and they
Korea,
go through.
anyone. It doesn't make
Oh
any
my
difference.
God.
Or it could be an individual like Matthew Cox that you interviewed, but he got caught and he spent time in prison for it.
Right. So how long does this process take? Like to target a house and get this done, get this whole criminal activity done. How long does this take? Like
I've sat
week,
I've sat with people
months,
and
day?
it can take half an hour.
Get out of here. Once they target a property,
Yeah, yeah.
they
I
have it down like that to where they target a
Yeah,
property and get the whole
go on, get the whole thing.
process done within a half hour, you said?
Yeah, yeah, easily. Yeah.
They just make phone calls and get it done over the phone or
Yeah, I mean, or just over a lot of this stuff takes place over the internet. You go online, you go to the clerk's office online. All the paperwork's there. I mean, every single piece of property has a document number that's assigned to it. And pardon my clock here if you can hear the alarm, but every single property has a designated number attached to it. So you could just go online. I can find out your property, your houses. I look up mine. I've done it. but
Yeah, but
I,
hold on. I have home title lock, so
oh, you do?
yeah,
Well,
I
there you
got it.
go.
Yeah, I
Well,
got
then
it.
you're
So
safe.
when I found out about this, I was like, I'm getting this. This is crazy.
Yeah, well,
Nobody
I've got it
needs this in
too.
their
And
life. Nobody needs this stress.
no, you
And there's
don't.
people, yeah, and there's people out there that do this for a living. They don't care. I mean, when I interviewed Matthew Cox is his name. When I
Yes,
interviewed him, I realized no empathy, no just feelings towards humanity. He just did not care. He was like almost like to me like how a sociopath or a psychopath behaves. I couldn't
you know,
believe that he did not
one of
care.
his victims before he went to prison was an elderly woman in Florida,
Dude, come on, man.
and he stole the value of her home and took out a loan on it and took off. And then she gets a knock on the door a couple of months later saying you haven't paid on your loan, and she never did it. That house actually went on the block because the loan companies don't care either. You know, if they are looking at the paperwork, a lot of them don't have compassion for the people that were taken by this as well. That's what makes this even doubly insidious. And she got foreclosed on, and it took her a long time to get her house back. And that's just one
A
of many.
headache and a stress that nobody needs in their life, especially with what everything's going on in somebody's life already. You really need that.
Exactly.
Some people have medical bills. Some people.
Oh,
I mean, this is horrible, man.
it is.
I think of this and so. How did Matthew Cox get let out? I don't understand. Like he only served how long did he serve?
He served 13 years in prison.
13 years, and now he's working for Home Title Law, correct? Or
Yeah,
he
he does. He does. He actually has. I think he has his own podcast in Florida, north of Tampa. So he's got his own thing going, but he does some work with Home Title Lock as well. We've got a couple of retired FBI agents that work with us who have dealt with this crime in the past as well, and it's just fascinating to hear some of the stories. I mean, you've heard the Graceland story, Elvis Presley's home.
yeah,
Or maybe you've heard about Petco Park, the baseball park down in San Diego.
yes.
Everything is up for grabs. So it's not just the little people that are hurt. It could be, it can be anybody anywhere in the world. We had this one incident where somebody had a piece of property, beautiful piece of property. I think it was in North Carolina, and it was stolen and it was sold to somebody. And so the person bought that property or thought they were buying the property, starts to build a huge house and nearly completes the house, and then finds out that the property that they bought was stolen from the original owner, who was told by somebody, hey, somebody's building a house on your property. Did you know about it? No, I never sold it. So what happens to the guy that builds the house on the property? He loses that house. And this was a multi-million dollar house. They eventually worked it out between the owner and the guy that was building the home on the property. But this is just one of a million different ways of skinning this particular cat. They
I
always,
mean,
the criminals always try one step ahead of the victim.
and it doesn't matter the size of house, nothing. I mean, every house
Yeah,
is a target. Every house is looked at as a potential target. What about like commercial property?
same thing. I
So
mean,
it's all
there are,
fair game. It's all fair game.
it's all fair game because I mean, you've seen these advertisements for company that will say, "We'll pay cash for your property,"
Yep.
okay,
See them all the
and
time.
and they will, and maybe they'll pay 70 cents on the dollar. Well, if somebody steals the title of that property, they don't care if they get $1 million or if they get $700,000 because they didn't pay anything for it. Do you understand?
Yeah, of course. I've seen it.
It's not
Yes.
the
Anything's
value.
good. They had nothing before, and now even if they get $100,000 in
Yeah,
a million property, they don't care.
exactly.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
home title lock, it alerts you what it sends you emails, it calls you. Um, how often? I mean, is it like you miss a call, you're screwed type thing,
No,
or is
no,
it
no, no,
like
no. No. As soon as, because they're monitoring 24/7. Go on there. I ask your followers to just go on their website and do your own due diligence. I mean, go on the website,
yeah, I
hometitlelock.com.
pulled it up right here.
Yeah, and it's very robust, and there are stories. A victim is on there, um, and do your own research and your own due diligence and find out just how serious a crime this is and how vulnerable you are. You're easy pickings, and this is not expensive. And I think you've got a promo code, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
David, which is ironically your name,
Usually it's Nino, but
David.
for this one, folks, it's David.
Yeah. And you can do a free try, or else they'll give you a nice discount to try it out. And just check it out for yourself. And they'll do a free scan on your home as well. So you'll be able to immediately find out if
This is
any.
scary. This is really
Yeah,
scary. Nobody needs this in their life.
yeah. I think this is the one of the most insidious crimes out there
Yeah,
because,
because you don't know, and it's your livelihood, your whole house, all your
yeah,
equity is
yeah,
gone, vaporized. They just take it, and then what? So they either kicked out of your house, and you have to go and hire a lawyer and living in a hotel or an apartment. I mean, this is crazy.
yeah.
Do
It
they,
can, it can get that bad because it's happened. If it goes into foreclosure, you can't get into your house. So it isn't like you got squatters in there. The house is gone. And all of its value. And it's not like they broke into your house and stole a painting or some jewelry or whatever. This is everything that the house is worth. And
so help
for
me
most
understand the
people,
recover
it's
the
a
recovery
lifesaver.
process.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
what's the recovery process like?
The recovery process with a home title lock, they have their own team of experts there, and they're doing it for you. So they're making sure that they're working on your behalf to restore that title back. These people are experts in dealing with this. So whereas if you hire an attorney, for instance, they may or may not know how to work their way through the system. The home title lock folks, this is all that they do. These are the pioneers. They're first class operation. And again, you have them, I have them, and it's peace of mind. And it's not
What what
expensive.
is what is the is there levels to paying? Is there I mean, is it just a monthly charge? Is it a yearly charge? Can you pay
Oh,
yearly? Can
yeah,
you pay like
you could do a monthly basis or get a discount on a annual basis. Yeah, there are different ways to work with
is there
them.
is there packages like the platinum, the gold, the silver, the bronze, or is it just
Yeah,
one?
go. Yeah, just go on the website and find out what the latest offerings are. They've always got something great going because really, I mean, the people that are involved in this company, their motivation is true. It's to look out for you, for the victims, because we've just seen too much of this going on. And all of the law enforcement departments that I deal with, for them, this is a relatively new crime. They don't look at this as something traditional, and they're just starting to kind of catch up to really how serious this is. But the home title lock folks have been doing this for years.
Wow. So how rampant is this? Is it like I said? Is it like in the millions? Has this happened millions of times,
Well,
thousands of times?
it's getting up there in various forums. It's getting up to the millions. I can't even give you figures on it because it's happening. So the problem is in being able to quantify just how often this happens, Nino, is that again, as I said, law enforcement departments have never really looked at this as a crime up until now. So they haven't kept numbers on it. I mean, there's a woman, she's the Attorney General in New York. You probably heard of her, 𝗬𝗃cia 𝗬𝗰𝗄. And she just now, within the last couple of months, designated deed theft or title theft as an actual crime because it's only been identified as such by law enforcement departments who traditionally look at crime as when somebody's stealing something, they, as I said, they hit you over the head and steal
Yeah.
your wallet. They never looked at this as a crime until now and as a serious crime. But it's one thing, Nino, to call something a crime. It's another thing to be able to catch the criminal. And the criminals are gone before they could ever prosecute. So a guy like Matthew Cox, he got real arrogant about this because it was so easy for him over the years to do this kind of thing over and over.
How long was he doing this for?
Huh? He was
How long
doing
was he doing it?
it for years. And this was back 20 years ago, when nobody even knew about it. And finally, and they could never, once they knew that this guy was doing this stuff, they could never catch up to him because he was always one step ahead of them. And when you're dealing with criminal enterprises around the world, they're nameless, so law enforcement can't even find them. So it's not just that there's an individual, a bad guy or a girl out there that they can identify and go after and find and arrest. These people are gone and the money is gone. It's offshore, it's someplace else. And so call something a crime, that's one thing. Catching the person that's doing the crime, that's the hard part. The thing that you need to do is to prevent it from happening in the first place. And that's what home title lock does. It prevents you from becoming a victim in the first place.
Man, that's scary. I mean, nobody needs this in their life, man.
No, they
Life's
don't.
hard as it is.
Now we got
Oh,
enough stuff going on right now.
yeah. John, stay with me. So folks go to hometitlelock.com, correct? Hometitlelock.com. Use code David. Use code David on this one. John 𝗬𝗰𝗶𝗹, everybody, thank you so much for your insight on this. This is scary. This is scary stuff. Stay with me for a second.
All right.